So let's have another look at drawing some shapes and using the push-pull tool. I also want to have a quick look at some of the indicators that you'll see on screen as you're using these drawing tools. And these are going to be really helpful when you're combining your different shapes and you're making more complex shapes. So I'm going to grab the line tool. I'm going to use the shortcut of L to pick up the line tool. I'm going to draw a shape along the red axis by starting off with a line along the red axis. Then I'm going to draw a line along the green axis and back along the red. Now, before I close this up, you're going to notice something here. As I move my cursor along the red axis, I get this little snap here, and it shows me with these green dots that it's lined up with that first endpoint line at the front here. Okay, it's lining up with this shape. Now it'll do that a couple of different ways. It'll show you that when I move along a certain axis, it'll show me that if when it's lined up. So if I wanted to bring that forward, now remember that you can see that the line is black, so it's not running parallel along the red axis. If I lock it, it now does that. But it will help me line things up with these shapes. In fact, I could even just, as I've locked onto the red axis now using the right arrow key, I could come down here and I can indicate on this line where I want to do that. And you'll see there it locks at the end. So I'm constraining that on the red axis and I can set my point there. So I can actually click here on the end of this line and that will fix it at that line. Now, interestingly, if I just go back a second and I'm going to draw a line from here again, I'm going to lock it to the red axis and I can do it either on the end of this line, but I also might want to do it in the middle of this line. Okay, and so here you can see it's indicating the center of this line. So it changes from that red square to a blue circle. And that shows me the center point. So I could click a center point there. Let's say I wanted to create a different shape, and then I could connect it there. Now it's closed the shape. Okay, I have it's co-planed because it's all on that same plane, the red and the green axis. So it's one plane. So that works out really nicely, and I've got myself a different shape here. So I could then push pull this shape, and I'm going to just add a little bit of depth to that. Okay, now the push pull tool, we've seen it add depth. So taking that, clicking that face and dragging up enables that to extrude. But the other thing the push pull does is remove material. So if I was to draw a line, I'm going to hit L again, and I'm going to draw a line on this edge. And I'm going to connect it here. And I have this shape that I can coplane, and I can remove material. Okay, so I'm going to go back on that. So I've connected, right? Because remember, we've got this is one plane. I've got a line here, a little triangle. I can connect that. So I'm still coplaning that face. I can then use my push-pull tool. And instead of adding, I can remove some material and create a more complex shape. So push-pull allows me to add depth. It also allows me to remove